Hi, and thank you for joining me today. My name's Mackie. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator from the UK. Today I thought I'd share with you the cards I featured on my blog, and I thought I'd show you how easy it is to create the images and stamping. So if you're a beginner stamper, this really is a great easy card to start off with. I'm going to make this card with you today. So I'm using all Stampin' Up products which are available on my online shop, which if you visit www.lauramackie.co.uk, on the right hand side there is a shop now button where you can click to purchase products. So I'm using the Stampin' Up trimmer to create my card base. I'm going to use Highland Heather cardstock and Purple Posy. I've got a card base here ready. All I do to create a card base is I will show you. So cut 14.85 centimetres and then turn and score at 10.5. So that creates our card base. So let me just pop that to one side, and then I always use my bone folder just to burnish the score line, so that gives you a lovely card base. Pop that to one side. So I'm going to do it the other way around this time. So the other one I did a Purple Posy card base. This time I'll do a Highland Heather card base, which will be quite nice. The layers to cut for the layers I've got here. So I'm going to mix it this time and do Purple Posy as my layer, which is 8 centimetres by 12.5. So that gives us that first layer. And then just get a little bit out of that. Oh, still need my trimmer, don't I? Then the Whisper White layer for stamping on measures 12 centimetres. So I'm just lining it up to the 12 centimetres across the trimmer. 12 centimetres by 7.5. So that then, I'll just show you, so it's going to be the alternate, so that goes on there, so I've got, it's a 0.5 centimetre smaller than the outside, and then that will go on there like that. So this is the piece, the Whisper White, that we're going to do our stamping on. I haven't mounted the stamps yet, so this is the Inspiring Iris stamp set, and I'm going to use the iris. I stick the stamps come loose they're on a sheet, but they sort of knock about, so I always stick that plastic piece to the back of the stamp set to stop them moving around. And then we're going to mount them up onto blocks. So this is a block E on there, so that's the outline image. Then we've got the heads for the iris, which that will go on a block D. And then I've got the stems and the leaves, which they will go on another block D. Now I stamped the outline images first in Memento ink, and what I tend to do is I just stamp onto my grid sheet just to have a little look at my image, and then inking it up again, and then I'm going to place it. So on this one, it's sort of near to the bottom to leave room for my greeting at the top. So I'm just going to line that up on my grid sheet. I do like to use my grid sheet for, I'm thinking I'm going to offset it this time slightly. Do it in that bottom right hand corner. Okay. I have whoopsied there a little bit. I've got a little bit of black there, but we won't worry about that, will we? We'll pretend we haven't seen that bit. I'm going to put the lid on the black ink. And then next, I'm going to use the Highland Heather to stamp the iris heads. And again, I shall just have a little practice run on my sheet over the top. So it's quite nice because these are photopolymer. You can see through the image to line up when you're stamping. So I can hover above, line it up with the first stamping I did, the outline. So hold it above and then down. And there. I'm a little bit off. But you know what? It's hand stamped. I can live with that. And I'm just using one of the stamping chamois just to clean off my stamps. I'm a little bit OCD of cleaning my stamps as I go. And then lastly, I'm going to use Old Olive this time to ink up the stems and the greenery, the leaves. And again, hovering it over my image. I'm not going to practice and line it up this time. I roughly know where I'm going. So I'm hovering it above. I'm hovering it about, I don't know, about an inch, a couple of centimetres away, just while I line it up. And then down and stamp. There we go. And again, I'm just going to use my chamois just to clean off the stamp. Cover that ink pad. Right. So I'm going to now, I can stick my Whisper White layer onto my Purple Posy layer. I like to use the multi-purpose adhesive from Stampin' Up just because it gives me a bit of wiggle room. So if I'm not quite straight, I've got time to manoeuvre it so it is straight. I find tape, I always get in a bit of pickle with tape, and so what happens is it's not straight and then it's too late that I can't move it around. It's, you know, tape, you've kind of got one chance. With the Tombow, you've got a couple of chances. So then that's going to stick onto there, and again I'm going to stick that down. I've stuck the stamped image and the layers flat, and then my greeting I've added with hopefully you can see them in there, with some dimensionals, and I did add a little bit of ribbon on there as well. So I'm going to go ahead and stick my stamped image down. Always check when you go to put this down. Sometimes I even open it up like this, so you know you're not got your card upside down, because what you don't want to do is stick it like that and go, oh no, my card's back to front. So, and then just lining it up so my borders top and bottom and left to right are even. It should be about a 1 centimetre border with those measurements I've given you. So that is our card there. Looks quite nice in the alternate. I'm liking that. Then my greeting. So my greeting here, I use the greeting out of this stamp set. Sending hugs, prayers, and lots of love. I think this time I'm going to use the wishing you the best, because that's quite a nice one for a birthday. So for the greeting, I used an offcut of Purple Posy, which I've got this piece here, which I'm going to use. I'm going to mount this one up on a slightly smaller block. What I recommend when you come to mounting your greetings, these are lovely, the photopolymer, for lining them up straight. So what I've done is I've lined it up on my grid sheet, and then I'm going to go in and line up my block against the lines so I know it's on there nice and square. And then all I'm going to do is, with the Highland Heather ink pad, So again, lining up my piece of cardstock. I'm going to stamp it in this bottom left corner. So there, so it's nice and straight. Again, I'm going to clean my stamp. Cover this ink pad up because that could be really disastrous if I leave that open. Then with my trimmer, I'm just going to trim this down, which my first one I trimmed to about 1.5 centimeters, but 1.5 centimeters is a little bit tight with this greeting because this greeting is a little bit thicker. So this one is about 1.8 centimeters. So there we go. Then I'm going to trim it with my scissors. Cut it a little bit longer. And then to create the banner effect, all I've done is use my scissors to go in from the end at about the halfway point. And then snip in and then snip into from either corner to where as far as you snipped into, so you meet that snip line. And that's your little banner. Just get rid of those pieces. So my greeting this time is going to go here. I am going to pop a little bit of the ribbon on because I quite like the little bit of ribbon on there. It's the Purple Posy again, which matches my cardstock. If you're not familiar with Stampin' Up, Stampin' Up's colour coordination is second to none. Really does make crafting easy because with Stampin' Up you choose an ink colour and excuse me, you choose a cardstock, you've got the ink to match, you've got coordinating ribbons and things, so everything matches, which really it makes it easy because you're not hunting for a piece of ribbon that's going to match a navy piece of cardstock. So it does make for lovely crafting. So with my greeting, I'm going to pop a little bit of the tear and tape across the bottom of my stamped sentiment piece. I'm just going to peel the backs off of there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just line that up. I have cut it slightly longer so I can trim it down. And I'm just going to burnish that well on the back. And then using my little scissors, just trim off that excess there. There we go. So that's my little greeting with the little piece of scalloped ribbon. I do love this little scallop ribbon. It's so delicate. And then I'm just going to pop 2 dimensionals on the back. So these are Stampin' Up dimensionals. What they do is they raise up whatever you're sticking down by I bet they're about 1.5 mil, I'd say. So yeah, I popped 2 of those on the back. Just peel the backs off, which they're super easy to peel off. Again, laying my card base square on my grid sheet. Just gonna have to stand up, and then I'm just gonna overset it slightly to my edge and pop it there. Just give that a press down. Now on this one, I've added 3 little frosted droplets. So I'm going to do the same again. I did 1 large and then 2 smaller ones. So I'm going to do the same again. And I'm just using my Take Your Pick tool. With the spatula end, it's ideal. I've let my nails grow, but some of you, if you follow me, my nails fluctuate between bit and growth. I've currently got growth, so I probably could pick them up with my nails, but without nails, I always used to use my Take Your Pick tool. And I still do it. And it's nicer actually because you're not all fingers and thumbs. You can hover where you want to place it, and then just use your finger just to hold it in place. So there we go. There is our finished card. Very simple. Really pretty though. I love this stamp set. Such a pretty. Just bring the other one into shot of the one that I did with the carnations. So the carnations, same again. So I stamped my memento, flower, stem and the head, and then I went back in with the head stamp and then the stem stamp to colour in the image. So exactly the same principle of what I've just done with the Inspiring Iris. This stamp set is just so beautiful. Really is beautiful, and it's great for any level of crafter. Here somewhere, here I've actually stamped the iris in, and then I've coloured it in with Stampin' Blends. So it's quite nice that you don't actually have to use it with the second stamp to colour it in. You can actually colour it in with your Stampin' Blends. I did this the other night. I'm yet to make it into a card. It was a new stamp set. It's been one I've been eyeing up. I saw it was staying in the new main catalogue, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to get it. So I bought it with some hostess rewards, so I didn't actually have to buy it. Perk of being a demonstrator. Stamp set is £20. You get 16 stamps. So you get the iris head and the stems. You get the carnation, head and stem. There's another flower here. I'm not sure what that flower is. It's quite a cute little flower. Quite like that. I might have a little play with that next. And then you've got a nice little circle border here, which is quite nice. Would have actually looked quite nice just stamped underneath the greeting there instead of using ribbon. And then there's 4 greetings. Thanks, wishing you the best, sending hug, prayers and lots of love. And then you are somebody who makes everybody feel like somebody. Such a lovely stamp set. If you missed taking down the measurements, you can find the measurements on my blog, on the coordinating blog post for this. My blog is listed here, www.lauramackie.co.uk. And anything I've used today and you'd like to use it, to purchase it, sorry, the Shop Now link is on my blog. Thank you so much for coming by today, and I shall be back soon. Bye.